ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मायं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
Yes, thank you so much, Professor Kritika Mataji, for that great Manga Charana, for blessing us the Manga Charana. So today we are honored to have His Grace SamaDarshi Prabhuji with us. I know he was in Eldoret some years back doing great service with His Grace Priya Govinda, and I'm sure he set the mood for us, even that now we are benefiting in the spiritual center in the Elders Temple right now. Shows that most students are now benefiting in Krishna consciousness because of the great things SamaDarshi with Priya that they set up the progress for us, they set up examples for us, and we're really grateful for that. And also, it's also good to realize that to notice that he is among the very few souls on this material world that really have dedicated their life to Krishna consciousness to the level of accepting to get to the path of sannyasihood, which is very difficult. I remember Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was when he took sannyasi, everybody was like, "You are too beautiful. You cannot get to be as you cannot really maintain sannyasi dharma because it's not for the light-hearted." And we don't take that for granted because
So, Prabhu, just a point of correction. I'm a brahmachari, not a sannyas. So
yes, but
maybe it is your blessing. One day I can become a sannyas, but for now I'm a student.
because most brahmachari were white, I noted you were orange robes, so
Oh,
it's
sorry.
still
But I think that's just a slight misunderstanding. Actually, most those who have dedicated to become actual brahmacharis, but within our Kenyan yatra, that has been very rare. So
yes.
that's why we don't have people wearing saffron, because most times people opt to marry later. But
Yeah.
Yeah, with your blessings, I shall remain brahmachari.
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving us association today. Thank you so much. So today we are doing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2, verse 30. As you can hear, we have some chicken behind, so maybe I can
All
ask,
right.
yeah, you can kindly take over. Thank you so much.
All right. So I can proceed. Sorry, my network is not very stable.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, we can hear you. Kindly proceed.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dennis, for the introduction and for this opportunity to serve by hearing from all of you and also by speaking Krishna Katha. We all understand that devotional service starts by hearing, and then once you hear, you should also speak, and once you speak, you should also remember. So that is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Swaranam. That is the process. So allow me to share my screen so that we can see the Shrimad Bhagavatam text. Okay. All right. I'm seeing that is disabled, so I'll just go ahead and read the Shrimad Bhagavatam. I'll assume that we are all there. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 2, Text 30, correct?
Yes, Prabhuji, kindly share.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can.
All right. Thank you. Prayuk Prayuktan Bojarajena. My
Prayuktam,
sorry, you can recite.
Prayuktam bhoja rajena,
Mayina Kamarupina
maina kamarupina,
Leelaya Vyanudattam Stan
leelaya vyanudatta, stamtan
Bala Kirdanakan Iva.
bala kridanakan iva.
All right, I'll go straight into the translation. The translation reads: The great wizards who were able to assume any form were engaged by the king of Boja, Kamsa, to kill Krishna. But in the course of his pastimes, the Lord killed them as easily as a child breaks dolls. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
The atheist Kamsa wanted to kill Krishna just after his birth. He failed to do so, but later on he got information that Krishna was living in Vrindavan at the house of Nanda Maharaj. He therefore engaged many wizards who could perform wonderful acts and assume any form they liked. All of them appeared before the child Lord in various forms, like Aga, Baka, Putana, Shakata, Trinavarta, Denuka, Garbhadaba, and they tried to kill the Lord at every opportunity. But one after another, all of them were killed by the Lord, as if he were only playing with dolls. Children play with toy lions, elephants, boars, and many similar dolls, which are broken by the children in the course of their playing with them. Before the Almighty Lord, any powerful living being is just like a toy lion in the hands of a playing child. No one can excel God in any capacity, and therefore no one can be equal to or greater than him, nor can anyone attain the stage of equality with God by any kind of endeavor. Jnana, yoga, and bhakti are three recognized processes of spiritual realization. The perfection of success, the perfection of such process can lead one to the desired goal of life in spiritual value. But that does not mean that one can attain a perfection equal to the Lord's by such endeavors. The Lord is the Lord at every stage. When he was playing just like a child on the lap of his mother Yashoda Mai, or just like a cowherd boy with his transcendental friends, he continued to remain God without the slightest diminution of his six opulences. Thus, he is always unrivaled. Namam Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shri Bhakti Dhiranam Damodareti Namine Yati Shri Bhakti Tirtasya Guna Bhavana Ratine Sarvada Sarva Bhaktanam Sarva Raksa Pradayane Shri Radha Krishna Gauranga Gyasi Sarvada Prabhu Nityananda Kripa Murte Pranamami Puna Puna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So today we're hearing about the pastimes of Lord Krishna and how the king Kamsa was trying to kill him. Now, this here, what we're seeing is the nature of an atheist. An atheist does not want to accept that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And even if they do accept it, out of foolishness, they want to kill Krishna. This is the nature of an atheist. An atheist wants to kill Krishna, wants to deny his existence, and basically denying the existence of Krishna is quote unquote killing Krishna. So, because his attempts kept failing, he was sending various wizards, thinking that somehow he can eventually kill Krishna. So, demonic mentality is synonymous with atheism. And atheism is one of the things that Srila Prabhupada came to fight in the material world. And if we notice, whenever Srila Prabhupada in his books is referring to Krishna, he always uses the term the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He does not just say the Supreme. So why does he always insist on putting in the word personality? It is because we are all forgetful that God, Krishna, is a supreme person. He is a person who has activities, he has associates, he has paraphernalia, and all of these things which are related to him are worshipable and transcendental. But in the materialistic world, most people do not want to accept that there is a supreme being. They either want to kill him or they want to reduce him to unmanifested energy. So, therefore, today we are seeing all these different types of demons that Kamsa was sending to kill Krishna were killed just as a baby plays with toys. Now, those who have interacted with children know that their toys never last because if in comparison to the child, the toy is like nothing. It is so brittle. It is so easy to destroy. But Krishna is also simultaneously displaying his opulence of strength and he's displaying his nature of being absolute. When they take form of a specific body, the consciousness of the conditioned soul assumes, the conditioned soul assumes the consciousness of the container that they go into. So, for example, when a jiva goes into the body of a baby boy, that jiva will now act as a baby boy. When the jiva goes into the body of a baby calf or of a lion, that jiva will now behave as a lion. So the jiva is being influenced by the outer coating, but this is not the case for Krishna. Externally, he was in the body, he assumed the body of a child, because Krishna has a transcendental body. He is not forced into any body. So that is the difference between us and Krishna. It is that Krishna is absolute, and the quality of absoluteness is that something that is absolute is never changed at any stage. And the quality of Krishna is that he is supreme and the absolute. He is full in all six opulences. So similarly, anything which is associated with Krishna is similarly pure, especially his holy names. Namna Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis. In this Kali Yuga, Krishna has invested all of his energies, all of his potencies into his holy names. So we should have full faith that there is no cause that is lost. There is no sin that is too great. There is no person that is too dull that cannot be purified by the holy name. That in itself is an offense, that thinking there is sin which is more powerful than the holy name. There is something which Krishna cannot overcome. This is a weakness of heart which devotees have to overcome in order to move into the deeper mellows of Krishna consciousness. There is no one who is lost, and there is nothing that is. We have to continue taking the medicine. We simply have to associating with Krishna. The more we associate with Krishna through his holy name, the more we are purified. So today, I want us to have a look at the demons that Krishna was killing. Because all of these demons that Krishna was killing were representatives of different anathas in the heart, which prevent us from surrendering of Krishna consciousness and moving into Krishna consciousness of sweetness, of reciprocation. So allow me to refer here to some of the research that I had done. So number one, we start with Putana. Putana was a demon, and it is described that when she came into the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, that she looked very beautiful. She was actually captivating, and the maidens were saying that the maidens were saying that she must be a goddess who has assumed the body of a human. So sometimes people who are not favorable or demonic people may be very attractive because that is how they get you. So Putana represents a pseudo guru, meaning a cheating guru, because she came in the guise of a mother and she was very attractive. She was captivating to all the inhabitants there. She was pretending to care for Krishna by giving him milk from her breast, but actually her breast was anointed with poison. So Krishna comes to kill and do away with this propensity of cheating gurus. So the first level is the guru who cheats externally, those gurus that we go to, or devotees who are not straightforward. And then secondly, we have the guru as in the mind. In the mind, we tell ourselves very many whimsical things. Actually, the mind should never be accepted as a guru, but because most of us are conditioned, we listen to our mind instead of the injunctions of the scriptures. So, Krishna has come in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam to cut away that illusion of doing things whimsically according to how we feel, according to the seasons of the ups and downs of our emotions, or the the wanderings of our thoughts, of our imagination. It is very easy to practice Krishna consciousness in the mode of ignorance and passion, because predominantly that is the prevailing mood that is out there. So Putana represents the pseudo guru and taking instructions in the wrong way. Then we can move on to the next demon, who is Sakatasura, the cat demon. So this demon, according to what the writer is saying here, refers to carrying the burden of a cat, a load of an old and new bad habit, not understanding the purpose of religious principles. Now we understand that one of the offenses to the holy name is still maintaining material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on chanting the holy name. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, inasmuch as one is chanting the holy mantra, the Maha Mantra, one should simultaneously work on their heart. It's not that everything is happening automatically. Sometimes devotees have this notion that just chant and everything will happen automatically, like magic. No. Yes, you should chant, because by chanting your consciousness is raised and the mirror of the heart is cleaned and you can see yourself clearly. So once you are able to see yourself clearly, now you understand, okay, I have envy in my heart. So what am I going to do practically about this envy that is in my heart? Am I just going to say, let Krishna handle it, or am I going to continue chanting, praying to Krishna to help me? And am I going to go and serve this person that I'm envious of? Because by serving that person that I'm envious of, then I will be able to appreciate them and not be envious of them, and I'll be able to get that same quality that I'm envious of in the first place. So this is what it means to work on the heart. To work on the heart means to do something practical about those anathas that the holy mantra, the Maha Mantra, is revealing to us through our chanting. So another example is during our practice in Krishna consciousness, we start to, at different times, we may start to have um, clashes with the devotees, especially for those who've served in the temple or lived in the temple for some time. At some point, you may feel that, what's going on? I'm always getting into arguments with devotees, or I'm always feeling offended by what the devotees are saying. This is purification happening. And what it means is that there's something which we are not addressing in the heart. So if we keep feeling that we are getting offended by devotees, it means we have not begun to practice humility practically, factually. As devotees, we very easily get into false humility because it is the culture. We must be humble, but in our heart, we really don't feel that humility. So now when we start getting situations where we keep getting humiliated by someone, or people are saying things which are really, poking at our insides, then it means, okay, Krishna is now giving me a practical opportunity to become humble. So my Guru Maharaj always says that to become humble, you must be humiliated. It means you have to tolerate humiliation. It means your ego has to be poked and that balloon has to burst, and you have to tolerate it and surrender. Then you can say that you're beginning to experience true humility. But when everyone is always praising you, everyone is giving you respect, then you have no opportunity to practice real humility. It is simply philosophy. In Krishna consciousness, we call this armchair philosophy. So Krishna consciousness is one of practicality. It is one of authenticity. So we have to pray sincerely and chant attentively to have the eyes to see Krishna consciousness in real life and to be able to practice it in real life so that it is not just philosophy. And it is extremely sweet when we pass these tests of Krishna. All of these challenges which will come, like I've explained, humiliation or insults, these are opportunities for us to transcend. Krishna talks about transcending. How can we transcend if we don't get both sides of the sword? If we don't get happiness and distress, then we can't know if we have actually begun to transcend. So I'll move to the next demon. Now we go to the demon. So, sorry, let me just recap. Putana represents the pseudo guru, and Sakatasura represents the burden of carrying bad habits and not understanding the purpose of religious principles. So, under that, I was explaining that these religious principles we're learning about must be applied. Then we move into Trinavarta, the whirlwind demon, false pride, which coming from dry or material logic, which leads to bogus philosophies. Yeah, again, we come face to face with speculation or misappropriated philosophy. So it is said that Srimad Bhagavad Gita should be studied scrutinizingly under a devotee of the Lord. So, what does that mean? It means that we cannot just study the scriptures for ourselves. It is good to study, but we cannot just study the scriptures for ourselves and believe that we have understood the purport of the essence of whatever we're reading. We have to read under someone who is bona fide so that they can help us to understand. Because currently we do not have the purity to understand. Our intelligence is affected or is contaminated with the modes of passion and ignorance. Therefore, we need the help of those people who are called the person Bhagavats. They are living Bhagavatams, meaning their whole life is like Srimad Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. These people, they have realization. What we have is we simply borrow the realization of our acharyas, of Srila Prabhupada, Vishwanatha, Chakravarti Thakur, the six Goswamis. We borrow their realization and we present it again to other people. And this is good, but for it to have maximum effectiveness, we have to have personal realization in our life. Otherwise, the philosophy won't have the full energy to transform someone's life. Srila Prabhupada was able to influence the whole world and all that he came in contact with because everything he was preaching, he had realized in his own life. It was real. It was not armchair philosophy. He had seen it. When Srila Prabhupada was talking about just preach and everything will come, it was not just philosophy. Before he came to the US, he says Krishna took away everything. He took away all his riches. He lost his family and he came with only 40 rupees. Now, it is prudent to note that Srila Prabhupada was on the way to becoming one of the most wealthy chemist businessmen in India. But Krishna took everything. And also, that is how Krishna shows his love. Anything in our lives that is going to be an impediment to us ultimately having the association of Krishna at the end of our life will be taken away if we are sincere devotees. Krishna will do this kindness to us. And it is scary, but in the end, it is sweet. So we can see that Krishna took away everything from Srila Prabhupada, and then he gave him much more. He gave him so many daughters and sons. He gave him temples all over the world and much more riches than he could ever have amassed on his own. So we're looking at the demon of false pride that comes from material knowledge or misappropriation of the philosophy. It is explained in the Bhagavad Gita that when one acquires knowledge or when one is practicing austerities in the wrong mood, it only makes one puffed up and it does not help one to progress in spiritual life. So, these scriptures must be studied under a bona fide representative of Krishna, and this person is called the Guru. So, it is explained that these are called revealed scriptures. They're not called theoretical scriptures. Revealed scriptures means the in depth essence of the scriptures is revealed to us either in the heart through Paramatma or through the external manifestation of the Paramatma who is called Guru. Therefore, if we are taking the essence of the scriptures, otherwise, memorizing so many shlokas and understanding the tattvas of all of these pastimes is still sense gratification because we're just enjoying our intellect. But bhakti is one of devotional service. Bhakti is about living the scriptures. And because the spiritual master has already lived and is living the scriptures, he has realization. The Guru and the Paramatma are always working together. So it is not that a must that your Guru must be there with you for you to be able to please him and to be revealed the imports of the spiritual scriptures. So, for example, for myself and my Guru, I've had many experiences where he's, taught me something in a dream. So, for example, when I used to work, when I was working, there's a time I had a dream about him. We were in a temple hall. There were so many devotees, and at the front, he was seated with two other sannyasis, two other gurus. So someone came and gave them a garland, each of them, including my Guru Maharaj. So for the other sannyasis, they were given very fresh garlands. But for my Guru Maharaj, he was given a wrinkly, like a flowers which have been there for a while. And, they garlanded him the flower garland, but there was no reaction from him. And then after the crowd went away, my Guru Maharaj started giggling, the way he does. And he was like, you see, this is the what did he say? This is the good thing about humility, is that you don't get easily offended. You see, they've given me a garland that is old, but I don't care. I'm okay. So immediately when I woke up, I could realize that it is because at work I was having problems with people because I felt they were not respecting me. So I did not have humility at that point, and it was affecting me mentally. So my Guru Maharaj came in a dream and gave me that lesson, and therefore I could understand what the scriptures are talking about when they're talking about you need humility in order to chant. Because if you don't have humility, then everything is going to disturb you. You're like a balloon, like an overinflated balloon. Just at any moment you can pop. So the Guru reveals the meaning of the scriptures, and that connection is spiritual. It does not have to be there physically. If we are connected and following his instructions, he will always help us move up. So, this false pride by accumulating knowledge must be cut by learning under a bona fide spiritual master. Then we can go to the next demon, who is Vatsasura, the calf demon. So it is explained this is a childish type of a mentality which gives rise to a type of greediness which results in a wicked type of mischievousness. So greediness is the anartha that we're talking about, wanting more and more for ourselves. And always this is in reference to material things. It is not in reference to spiritual things, because spiritual greed is very healthy and very much recommended, and every one of us should take a daily dose of spiritual greed. But in this case, we're talking about wanting to accumulate, wanting to have more than necessary. This is not at all favorable for devotional service. And we understand from the Shri Upadishamrita, it says, Atyahara prayasascha prajalpaniyamagrana jana sangascha laulyamcha sadvir bhaktir vinashati. So Jiva Goswami is explaining things which are unfavorable for devotional service. So atyahara means collecting more than necessary. And the reason why this is unfavorable is because collecting more than necessary means more energy is expended to collect all of these things. More attention is used to maintain. Once you've accumulated, then you're now starting to stress over maintaining these things. If you've amassed so much wealth, you have to put in place so many structures just to be able to maintain it. For example, in a company where there's so much money going, there's a lot of accountants who are employed to be able to do all the reconciliation of the money, the ins and the outs, and whatever is accruing has to always be verified, you know. So wherever there is much wealth, there has to be a lot of energy that will go into managing that wealth, especially if it is not coming in an honest fashion. Wherever there's exploitation of people, of resources to amass wealth, there's similarly a lot of mode of passion in order to be able to maintain it. So a devotee is not advised to work like an ass or a hog, that we simply work so unnecessarily hard to enjoy very little. So this is explained that this is being miserly. To be miserly means that you have something, but you don't want to spend it. So what Srila Prabhupada is talking about is not talking about our money. He's talking about a human form of life. We have this human form of life, but we are so miserly, we only want to use it for sense gratification. So the human form of life should be understood. It is meant for tapo divyam. It is meant for tapasya, penances, and self-realization. So the more we utilize our life for that, then we can understand that we are being generous to ourselves. And the more we are stringent on that, the more we don't want to apply ourselves to Krishna consciousness, and we can understand we're being very short-handed. We don't want to give. We should give, stretch our hands out. Krishna, please take this. Please take my hand and allow me to dedicate my life to you. Just this life. I've had 8.4 species of life to enjoy myself without any rules and regulations. This time, allow me to dedicate my life to you and not be taken away by Maya. So the devotee should not be miserly with their life and should not be greedy, because greed will definitely distract you and will not give you time to practice Krishna consciousness as you can. So if one can live simply and just maintain the soul and body together and take care of the basic needs, maintain their family comfortably, all the other time should go into spiritual realization. There is nothing higher than that. There is nothing much more worthwhile, because we have something extremely valuable. This human form of life did not come easy. It has come after millions of years of suffering. Therefore, this suffering must be put to an end in this lifetime. So, we've spoken about a few demons. I'm not going to finish with the rest because of time. I'd like us to have some time to discuss I don't want to overload the devotees, because as I began by saying that Krishna consciousness, we must hear, we must glorify, speak kirtanam, and after speaking, we must contemplate, we must remember. Hearing Krishna conscious philosophy without contemplation does not lead to realization. Realization comes once we've heard, and then we think about what we've heard. Once we think about what we've heard, then we can begin to experience realization. Realization, according to the Bhagavad Gita, is when the soul acts in the position of the soul. Currently, the soul is acting in the position of the body. So we cannot say we have realized a lot of the things that we're discussing. But by contemplating these topics, then we will get the inspiration from Krishna on how to actually apply, and then finally have realization which we can share and inspire others. So I'll open it up for questions now or comments.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much for today's session and going through some of the demons and how and what they represent. And it has shed a lot of light, especially for me. We open it up to questions. I can start with the first question, Prabhuji. Prabhuji,
Yes.
when people glorify you, yeah, I mean, I see a lot of glorification in Krishna consciousness. I mean, so when people glorify you, how do you take it? I mean, what do you, because they have glorified you, so how should you behave?
Okay. Thank you. That's a really good question, because it is said that glorification for the devotee is like death, because now how are you going to be humble if all the time you're receiving glorification? So what the devotees should do is sincerely appreciate. Appreciation is very good. If I genuinely appreciate another devotee, if I come and I tell a devotee, I really like how you were reciting the mantra today, or I really like how you cooked today, the salt was just right, and I feel it was very much in the mode of goodness. Krishna must have enjoyed this. This is different from if I come and like, oh, Prabhu, you must be Radharani's favorite devotee. The food was just amazing. There's a difference in the mood. Flattery is trying to increase someone's false ego, but appreciation is really trying to appreciate the service that someone has done. Now, if we are on the receiving end, definitely what we do is we understand that all the glory goes back to our spiritual master, goes back to Srila Prabhupada, and goes back to Krishna, because we understand they are the ones who are enabling us. So just like Hanuman, I was just listening today, Hanumanji, he used to say that he is the arrow of Lord Ram. So meaning whatever Lord Ram lets go of, any arrow that Lord Ram shoots cannot fail. So it means that the ability is Lord Ram and he is just an instrument. So whatever he achieved, he carried a mountain, he crossed over Lanka, he burnt the whole of Lanka. He did very amazing things, but his humility is that he he attributes all of that to the mercy of Lord Ram. So the devotee understands that he is made of mercy. He is not made out of his own skill. So by always having that in mind, that actually I'm not self-made, but I'm made by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. I'm made by the mercy of Gurudev. Krishna is the ability in man. Then anytime I'm glorified, all glory is to Srila Prabhupada, all glory is to Gurudev. You just redirect it there and you're safe. Then you will not die.
Yeah, or get puffed up.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much for this
exactly.
explanation. Yeah. I think this flattery should stop it because I've just recently joined ISKCON, and I see a lot
Yes.
of
A great
glorification.
disease.
So
Yeah.
I think because we are just pulling devotees down by giving them false, by flattering them. I mean, appreciation is good, but flattery is,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so thank you so much
Yeah.
for that clarification, Prabhuji. I open it to other devotees. Any questions or comments from the group?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Wonderful, wonderful session today. I'm not flattering. This was really, this is appreciation. I know that, yes, flattery could be very bad because I'm a mother. I raised a son and I know exactly what is the difference between appreciation and flattery. So I don't want to
Yes.
flatter my son or my family members because they should not be carried away. So we need to
Yes.
appreciate for what they have, what the good they have done, and also be very straightforward when they do some mistakes, some wrong
Yes.
things. So that is very, very nicely said. Today there were so many lessons that I had to take for myself.
Mm.
Like humiliation comes only when humiliated, which was very, very well said, Prabhu. So when we get humiliated, then only we will realize how to be humble and how to be, which was very nicely said. And also the third one point was very nicely said about how we use our scriptures when we read only to for our sense gratification, thinking that, oh yeah, I know this, I know that, and
Mm.
by talking about it in front of other people, and not realizing that we ourselves are not following the rules, or
Yes.
actually practicing what we have learned, but we just talk about it in front of other people, which doesn't actually help
Mm.
for both the parties, for either for us, for the other people as well. So very nicely
Yes.
said. Today it was very well, very. I'm so happy that I was in part of this group today and I participated. Hari Bol. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your attention and helping us to remember. Actually, what you mentioned about just reading the scriptures for the sake, the verse that I'd quoted, and the word used is Niyamagraha. Niyamagraha means following rules and regulations for the sake of following and not for spiritual advancement. And also, the word means practicing whimsically without following rules and regulations. So many times, devotees, we find ourselves following rules and regulations because we want to be paka, we want to be pure brahmanas. But are we following so that we can actually develop love of Krishna? If we're not, then it is an impediment. That is mode of goodness, which is still an impediment in devotional service because you want to have the ego that I am following. But you're not actually understanding the consciousness, you're not understanding the essence. Everything is a technology. So the technology is chanting. Why are we chanting? We're chanting to remember Krishna so that we can purify ourselves and remember Krishna. But if I'm simply just chanting and I'm not chanting so that I can attain love of Godhead, then that is niyamagraha and it won't help in the long run. Yes, eventually, after millions of lifetimes, it will help, but if it is done properly, then this lifetime it will help
Yes.
eternally.
Yes.
So thank
Very
you,
nice.
Mataji.
Thank you so much. And I will be looking forward for more classes about more demonic qualities which we have. Prabhu. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Haribo.
Hare Krishna. See,
Hare
Eastern.
Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Eastern Prabhu, can you please unmute and ask or make a comment? Eastern Prabhu, if you are talking, we can't hear you. Hare Krishna Prabhu, we can't hear you.
Please accept my humble obeisances. I heard that Prabhu, you were talking about greed, and you mentioned that
Hare Krishna, are we able to hear Eastern Prabhu? Because I know he's talking, the mic is going.
Yes,
So
it
is it
is.
mine?
It is a bit cracking.
Eastern Prabhu, kindly write because we can't hear you. Kindly put your question or comment on the chat. Hare Krishna, Eastern Prabhu.
Can you
Okay,
hear me?
Prashanatma Prabhu. Hare Krishna, kindly unmute and ask your question. Hare Krishna, Prashanatma Prabhu, kindly unmute. I think we might have internet challenges. We move on to Panchalikar Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. Just a quick comment, and I echo everything that Gayatri Mataji said just a while ago about, there are so many times we actually listen to the same pastimes as well, but we forget that, what we need to learn from the pastimes is the anarthas attached to that, and what we need to learn, and how we utilize the knowledge to purify ourselves. Most of the times, and I can only speak for myself, we read them, but how many times have I been able to apply that in my life? So I don't know if you can give any guidance on that, because I think I struggle with that. I understand everything, but many a times it's quite challenging to follow everything, despite knowing what is right and what is wrong. That's one of the challenges which I face in Krishna consciousness. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for your question. So, if I've understood your question, you're basically saying yes. We've read, we've understood, we know what we should do, but we're finding that we do not have the strength to do what we should do. Am I right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
So, okay, thank you. So, if you don't have something, you have to ask for it. And you have to ask for it from someone who has it. And the person who has the strength to help us to do what we should do is our Guru, the representative of Krishna. So, devotees should make a habit of praying sincerely all the time, anytime, at every step. We have to become spiritual beggars. His Holiness Bhaktitirtha Swami Maharaj has written a book called The Beggar. And this book is a compilation of prayers. So the devotee understands that they should do this, but they don't have the strength, due to maybe weakness or, so many impressions on the mind carried from past lifetimes. So we have to sincerely beg and, really just be a cry baby, because the squeaky knob gets the oil. The more you cry, the more Krishna will hear. So this crying has to be done regularly, and we also have to do something practical to attract the mercy of Krishna, because we cannot just cry and we're doing nothing about our situation. So, for example, if I know I have a tendency, like we were explaining before, I have a tendency, envious of someone particular, and it is it is making my service become difficult, because anytime I see this person, then my mind gets agitated and I'm not able to serve properly. Then I have to do something practical, and I have to pray to Krishna sincerely and beg him for the mercy to be able to overcome it. Or maybe I'm breaking a regulative principle, I have an issue with intoxication. Then I have to seriously cry out to Krishna and, ask him, please help me. I want to do this, but I can't. You have to help me. Otherwise, I'm finished. What can I do, Krishna? This is this is me presenting myself to you. These prayers have to be done. But now, as I'm praying, I also have to do something practical. I'm like, okay, Krishna, I have this problem. I need more medicine. Let me try. Please help me to chant more rounds. I want to chant now. From today, I want to chant 25 rounds in the hope that this is going to purify me of the desire to intoxicate. And 100%, Krishna is very quick to respond to sincere prayers which are meant for spiritual upliftment. Our material requests may be put in a queue, they may be put in a ticketing system, and eventually Krishna will come to that ticket, and he may grant it or not according to whether it will be beneficial for our life, our spiritual progress. But our spiritual requests are always answered. So this is my personal experience. I have been and in this situation, and still there are things I struggle with, which I pray to Krishna, and I try and do something extra. And I've been seeing Krishna is helping me progressively. So if one has the benefit also, if one has the privilege of having a spiritual master, one should similarly derive strength from the spiritual master. One should be transparent with the spiritual master, because the spiritual master has the power to burn, eradicate all the illusion and all the false propensities, all the bad habits that we have. The spiritual master has that power, but we have to present ourselves to our guru. So at times we may find it difficult because we're so embarrassed at our fallen nature. In that case, you should try journaling. You should write letters to the spiritual master. My spiritual master used to do this. He still does it. He does it every day. And he was taught this also by his spiritual master. So they have a culture of writing letters every day. You can write a letter to Krishna, you can write a letter to your guru. In this way, you are consciously thinking about this person you're writing to. Writing a letter is very intimate. It's not like writing a text message. You are able to pour out your full heart. And what happens is that you will be meditating about this more during the day. So the more you're meditating about this, the more you're crying out from the heart, and the more you'll actually feel inspired to do something to attract the mercy of Krishna. So we must understand that it is not by our own strength that we can come out of something. It is explained that a man who is drowning cannot save himself, he has to be pulled out. So this is our situation.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That was such wonderful, tips. Both, I think I'm going to start writing that journal and that letter every day, because I pray to Krishna. Krishna, you take control of my mind, because there are certain things which I'm just not able to control. My spiritual master, they they know everything anyway, and I tell them I'm not able to, so they help, but sometimes it's challenging. But thank you so much again. I will try better, and hopefully my spiritual master and Krishna will help me. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
They will help you. It is their duty. We just have to ask.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Eaton Prabhu has written in the chat, he didn't get the part you were talking about a devotee having to have his or her portion of greed and also not to be greedy. I was confused in that.
Okay. Sorry, Easton. I did not elaborate on spiritual greed. So spiritual greed means that you're very greedy. You see, once you've tasted the causeless mercy of Lord Nityananda or Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or the pure devotees, once you have a taste of that, then you'll understand what greed is, because you'll want more and more of it, you know, because you'll start to relish the mellows of Krishna consciousness. At present stage, a lot of times we are struggling with the do's and don'ts of Krishna consciousness. So when we receive the mercy of Krishna, then we have small glimpses of that taste of Krishna consciousness. And we have this experience, especially when we are new in Krishna consciousness. You know, a lot of devotees have explained some of the, experiences they have. Like one of the devotees here in Nakuru, she was explaining that when she chanted for the first time, her body was shaking. She was trembling. We've heard of such descriptions also in the Shastra. And, other devotees can tell you they've seen they were seeing the deity dancing during Kirtan. You see, these are things that Krishna does for us to have the determination and the taste, or rather the enthusiasm to continue in the path. He's showing us this thing is real. This is what you can experience if you continue practicing Krishna consciousness. So he gives us a taste and then he takes it away. Then now you have to work through your anathas, and that taste, just that small glimpse, that taste will drive us to move forward. So in Krishna consciousness, we must increase the taste. It is that taste which helps us to uh, give more of ourselves. Without having that taste, then Krishna consciousness becomes extremely burdensome. And to get this taste, again, we have to get the mercy of the devotees and the mercy of the lordships. So this is the greed I'm talking about, that, once you've served the devotees and you've gotten some mercy from them, you get a realization, or now you start noticing that, okay, now I'm able to chant without struggling. I'm finishing my rounds by 7.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, we have lost you. Hare Krishna, I think we have lost Prabhuji. Maybe his internet. We can wait for a minute. Anyway, we have exhausted our time, but we can wait for a minute so that he can finish Eastern Prabhuji's question.
Mataji, what a wonderful class. Really, really learned so much from the session. So thank you for bringing Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Mugo Prabhuji, because he is the one who brought Prabhuji to this group. So I echo the same sentiments that this was a very nectarian class and a very practical class.
Yeah.
I think we'll read and learn, and I mean, sometimes we just go through the motion, but he has really shown us, Prabhuji has really shown us the practical way of dealing with it. So, yeah, wonderful class today.
Haribo.
Haribo.
Yeah.
Panchali
Krishna Prabhuji, are you able to join in? SamaDarshi Prabhuji? Okay, I think we have lost him. So let us all chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to glorify SamaDarshi Prabhuji for today's wonderful session.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
Hare
Namo.
Krishna. Sorry,
Hare
I
Krishna
dropped off.
Prabhuji. Sorry we lost you. So we
Yeah,
thought
my device went off, so I've just used one of my friend's devices here. So I'm seeing it's kind of late. I don't know if people want to continue or we end the session there and we can continue at a later date.
Prabhuji, if you want to, if you can, please answer the question that Eastern Prabhu was asking. So you can continue with the answer and then we can end the session.
All right. Okay. So what I was explaining is, for me, before I took this decision to move into Brahmacharya ashram, during Nityananda Trayadashi is when everything began to hit. Meaning, during the kirtan, I was feeling goosebumps, just for slight seconds. It's not that I was feeling goosebumps the whole time. So feeling goosebumps means the hairs are standing on end. And other than that, when we were doing the Abhishek, I was feeling extreme happiness, extreme joy, and also feeling like you want to cry. Of course, I did not cry. I would not allow myself to cry in front of people. But Krishna was giving me this, I like to say that Lord Nityananda kicked me in the chest. We all know the pastime of Lord Nityananda and how he kicked one of the devotees in the chest. So you're softening my heart to accept, the call to spread Krishna consciousness and to spread love to everyone else. So this was not expected at all. And after I had that experience, it became very easy for me to chant my rounds. I was listening to only lectures, like even when I'm at work, when I'm at home, I didn't want to do anything else, only Krishna conscious things. Some other times before that, I would be like, now I'm tired, let me just watch a movie or something. After that, there was nothing, the taste was gone. This is what we call mercy. It is, you cannot explain it because it's nothing short of causeless mercy, because there's nothing I can say I did. I didn't do like 1,000 horse sacrifice or anything. I was not chanting 64 rounds, but when Lord Nityananda hears one has a sincere cry in the heart, he definitely gives them mercy. Especially on these auspicious days when they appear, if one can try and do something extra. Like for me, I remember on that day, I decided to fast fully and I wanted to give my all. So that was the reciprocation that I got from Lord Nityananda. And anyone can have this experience. It is not for a select few. This Krishna conscious philosophy is real and it should be experienced. But we have to try our best. We have to really try and give, something special, something extra, not just something that we shouldn't give leftovers. I feel for a big part of my Krishna conscious, I was just giving leftovers, I'll just give whatever I feel like giving, but not everything. So when we sincerely pray for the mercy and take advantage of whatever we have, whatever access we have, these auspicious days, then when we experience that, we become hungry for more. We get a taste of what things could be like. So even if I had only experienced like goosebumps for like 1 second or 2 seconds, the intensity of that feeling still is ringing in my head. So it is encouraging me to continue and to try giving more and more, and to try and share it with other people so that they can experience it. So the idea is that if more of us are very inspired and are trying our best and are becoming more and more pure, then we can definitely help so many other people. So this is the greed I was talking about. And Srila Prabhupada was also extremely greedy. You know, he used to say, bring all the money in the world. Mayavadis used to say, or they still say that money is Maya. But Srila Prabhupada never said that because he's using everything in Krishna's service. So Srila Prabhupada also wanted to establish a whole country, a Krishna conscious country. And he even gave ideas on the name of the currencies and all of that. He wants that each and every one of us to open a temple. That's greed. All of this is greed, but it's spiritual greed because he only wants everything to expand. So the devotee should also be very greedy to get more service, more purification, more mercy. And this is what spiritual greed means.
Thank you. Thank you very much,
Hare
Prabhuji, for that explanation. Sorry we've kept you longer than we usually do, but your session was so interesting. So I apologize for taking extra time. Let us all unmute and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to glorify Prabhuji today. SamaDarshi Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Kripa
kripasindhubhyo
Sindhuvya
patitanam
Patitanam
pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai
His Grace
Eldoret
SamaDarshi
Yatra ki
Prabhuji ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you so
Granthal Srimad
Hare
Bhagavatam
Krishna.
ki jai.
much.
Jai.
Thank you for such an excellent session, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Also,
Thank you.
Thank you all for engaging in service. Jai.
jai.
Wishing you all a Gaura night. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. So much, Prabhuji. We'll see you next week. Hare Krishna.